We are currently witnessing the downfall of the Buffalo Bills. Once an AFC juggernaut, they're now going to be lucky if they make it into the wild card spot. I mean, after last night's loss to Denver, this really just crystallized for me. They were already struggling this year, but you can't lose that game. I mean, we made a short, quick reaction after the game, breaking it down, but if you watched it, that ending was literally pathetic. And you can put the blame on Allen. He didn't play good, but at the end, that's just a organizational and coaching disaster. To have 12 men on the field in that situation, to give them another shot and to blow that game in that fashion at home is just embarrassing. It really is. And as I just said, I think that this Bills team, they would be lucky to squeak into the playoffs because they're 5-5 right now. Let's just take a look at the remaining teams that they have to play on their schedule. So week 11, they play the Jets. What happened week 1 when they played the Jets? All the momentum was sucked out of the Jets when Aaron Rodgers went down on that first drive. Somehow the Jets still won that game behind their defense and behind Josh Allen completely flaming out. And that goes into an even bigger narrative of how bad Josh Allen's been on primetime, but I won't get into that now. Week 12, they go to Philly to play the Eagles, my current favorite to win the Super Bowl, so I think that that's a loss. They have their bye week 13, but then week 14, they go to Arrowhead to play the Chiefs. Week 16, they go to LA to play the Chargers. Week 17, they play the Patriots, which that's one that feels like that should be a win because, the Patriots are a disaster. Then week 18, they go to Miami to play the Dolphins. I know that they beat Miami earlier this year, but these games between the Bills and Dolphins are always close. And I think Miami's going to be pretty motivated in that one because they're going to be playing for seeding maybe, depending on how things work out for their schedule. So Miami could still be motivated at that point in the season. So I think best case scenario in that stretch of games, the very best scenario, they go 3-4. That puts them at a record of 8-9. That's clearly not good enough to make the playoffs. And in the AFC, you need at least 10 wins to make a wild card spot. And I think 8-9 is a realistic finishing spot for this team. And it's a shame because going into this year, I had my problems with the Bills. I saw some cracks in their foundation in terms of their chemistry. Still having some problems with their offense in terms of their line wasn't very good. Their run game is very inconsistent. They rely way too much on Josh Allen. And you can go back, go check the tape. I was saying I was fine with letting go of Sean McDermott after last year. What's happening now? They're calling for Sean McDermott's head. There's a couple teams around the league that I follow a couple different fan pages of just because I like to see what fans of the team are saying. The Bills are one of those teams. They were calling for Sean McDermott's head last night, and I went into the comments. There wasn't one fan of the Bills defending Sean McDermott. So I think he's worn out his welcome in Buffalo. I think he's done. I would be genuinely shocked if he's back for next season. As a Steelers fan, we've been calling for Matt Canada's head all year, so I can kind of relate to you guys, to you Bills fans who want McDermott out of the building. But, the Bills of the past, looking at 2020, 2021, 2022, the thing that made the Bills look so good and made them look like this big, great contending team was they would absolutely just crush bad teams. They would just obliterate the bad teams. They'd get into shootouts with the good teams like the Kansas Cities, the Cincinnatis, teams like that. And they'd usually come up short in the playoffs. But at least in the regular season, why everybody thought that they would look so good is they would just smash the bad teams. I mean, just going back to last year, I remember vividly, like I said, as a Steelers fan, we played the Bills last week, or last year. It was week 3 or week 4. I think they hung 40 points on us, and we scored a field goal. It was bad. And they used to do that a lot. That was their consistent MO as the Bills, is they would just bludgeon the bad teams. And that's just not been the case this year because they're 5-5. To lose in the fashion that they did to Denver is a complete embarrassment. And this offense is clearly, there's only one way that the Bills can win their games, and that is Josh Allen has to put on his Superman cape and just completely carry this team. You wonder why he's looking so reckless out there. I think his best comparison is that Brett Favre, where you're going to get a lot of throws where you're like, what is he doing? Is he blind? Who is he throwing to? But then you're going to get other weeks where it's like, this guy looks like he's the most talented player in football. So it is hard, and especially, like I said, when your run game's inconsistent. James Cook got off to a great start. He's kind of cold off. The O-line, there's still issues. Gabe Davis, what's the deal with Gabe Davis? Because I thought he was going to really develop into a nice number 2, a nice reliable option outside of Diggs. It comes back to the word inconsistency. And I think that is the number one word I would use to sum up the Bills. I think that is from a coaching standpoint all the way down throughout the organization. So, Bills fans, please let me know your thoughts on this. I really want to hear from the Bills fans on this one. What do you want to happen here? Should the Bills just stick it out? This team has had a lot of success in recent memory. No, obviously, Super Bowl trips, but they've been an AFC juggernaut. Do you want the team to stand pat, or do you just want them to clean house? Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.